All right, Latin people, what are you offering us?
I'm so honored to have President Trump's endorsement. His endorsement, in my opinion, is the most significant endorsement in my lifetime. So when he endorses, it has a tremendous impact.
Ken Paxton would be an albatross around the neck of the Republican ticket.
Great stuff.
Endorsement of Paxton just days
Terrible
before
suit.
their runoff election on
harsh immigration crackdown and struggle to bring down prices. The construction business has been ground to a near halt.
I like to describe it like you're in a boxing ring and you're getting hit with a right and a left at the same time.
Mario Guerrero is the executive director and CEO of the South Texas Builders Association.
Yeah, that sounds like the kind of analogy that a senior director might be able to summon. That seems like it might be around the upper limit of their, communicative abilities.
And a 3-time Trump voter.
It's like the way I like to talk about it with my friends and my folks and stuff is it's like one bad thing and then a second bad thing.
I've been a Trump supporter since the beginning.
But as Donald Trump has carried out his deportation agenda, Guerrero says his business and workforce have taken a hit.
If a Latin votes for Trump, you are allowed to mispronounce their names. You can just call him Guerrero, like that. You can Guerrero, Tortilla. You can if they voted for Trump 3 times, you can print. You don't have to roll those R's. Is all I'm saying.
We've been dealing with all sorts of different cases like ICE, having to come into the construction and start asking people for documentation. We also had to deal with the fact that, people with proper documentation were being apprehended as well.
Here in the Rio Grande Valley, fear and intimidation dominate the immigrant community.
Are your workers here legally?
Yes, sir. They're here legally. Yes, sir.
And some of them are afraid?
Well, yes. Of course they're afraid because, we're brown, right? And when you're brown right now nowadays, you're being questioned as to what you're doing, where you're at, where you live.
Trump's return to the White House was in part driven by historic gains that he and the Republican Party made with Hispanic voters nationwide. Nowhere was that more on display than here in Texas, where Trump won 55% of the Latino vote, 14% more than he won in 2020, and 21% more than in 2016. Along the southern border with Mexico, Donald Trump turned what was previously...
Would they vote for him again? It's again, these interviews are ultimately meaningless without the follow-up questions. Would you vote for him again? Would you vote for Kamala Harris if you could go back in time to 2024? The answer in almost all cases is they don't know if they would vote for him again, but they wouldn't have changed their prior votes. The reason for this is because they are genuinely sheep. They are not worthy of consideration. They should not be allowed to vote. You have to keep, again, this is like everyone recognizes the problem. Everyone knows this. Americans are catastrophically stupid and vote against their own interests, but nobody's brave enough to suggest the solution. They shouldn't be allowed to vote. They don't. They're like, well, I don't know what to do. What do we do about the fact that these people keep making bad decisions? You just don't let them make decisions. The same way that you wouldn't let habitual bad decision makers lead any other group project. Voting is a group project. Why would if a person keeps having bad ideas, you don't keep pitching them the damn remote. Take the aux cord away.
Solidly Democratic territory into a near Republican firewall. Last summer, with Republicans looking ahead to the 2026 midterm elections, they sought to shore up their narrow majority in the U.S. House by announcing new proposed congressional maps in Texas.
It's a very simple redrawing. We pick up 5 seats.
Those new maps were signed into law by Governor Greg Abbott, despite backlash from the state's Democrats. The maps took 5 Democratic-held seats and tipped them in the Republicans' favor.
Texas is now more red in the United States Congress.
4 of those 5 districts are majority Latino and were drawn under the assumption that Republicans would maintain their gains with Latino voters in future
remarkable
elections. But Latinos are not a reliably Republican or Democratic voting bloc. And with Trump's approval numbers on immigration and the economy below 50% in most polls, Republicans in Texas are worried that a sharp Latino turn back to Democrats might be on the horizon.
At a certain point, there's going to be a pushback.
Republican Javier Villalobos is in his 5th year as mayor of McAllen, a border town with a population of about 150,000. He praises the GOP for using the issue of immigration to their advantage, but now fears they've overplayed their hand.
When people that are good and productive...
I do appreciate how transparent some of these Republicans are. It makes sense because he's like from a local level, you know, how transparent they are about the fact that all of this is just a political ploy, but you can like overdo it. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't actually believe in the immigration crisis, ICE, whatever. Like to him, it's just a thing you pitch for votes, but oh, you've overcommitted. Now it's a detriment politically. You don't believe in anything.
Have been part of our local fabric are being removed. That made it a little more difficult.
As mayor of a town that's 90% Hispanic, Villalobos has seen how Trump's standing with Latinos has changed. And those 5 districts that Republicans are counting on in Texas to keep their majority in the House, Villalobos says all 5 could now be at risk.
They were changed so that to give a Republican a chance, but I'm not sure it's going to happen.
For their part, Democrats are targeting candidates they think can help claw back the support they used to have with Latinos.
This was a district that I guess they assumed would never be able to flip back.
Bobby Pulido is a 5-time Latin Grammy nominee and the son of a migrant farm worker. He believes his campaign for a competitive House seat is built to flip the script for Democrats.
What do you see happening with the Hispanic vote come November?
Oh, it's going to be a big change.
Are all American politicians cowboy LARPers? Yes, and shockingly, this is not in any way, shape, or form limited to the South or Texas or whatever else. They're like this everywhere. If you drive in rural areas in the fucking Midwest, in New England, you will see cowboy LARPers running.
A huge change. I know, you know, the analysts and stuff say, oh, it's a plus 18 Trump district. Nobody's going to ever be able to win it. It's impossible. Well, you just see in November how we'll do.
Pulido's opponent is Congresswoman Monica de la Cruz. She says her focus on the community, not national storylines, is what matters.
Are you worried at all about this apparent swing among Latino voters back to the Democratic Party?
Well, I'm worried about making life affordable for the people of South Texas, making sure that I don't...
Trying to run away from association with Trump here.
Look at what's happening in the nation, or what may be perceived to be happening in the nation, but that I focus on fighting for the people.
Ignore what my party and what my policies are doing on a national level and delude yourself into thinking they'll work on a local level.
Of South Texas.
As for the Democrats, they will need that swing among Latinos to have any chance of winning the state's Senate seat up for grabs in November.
This election is our chance to take power back for ourselves and our communities.
James Tallarico used strong Latino backing to capture the party's nomination in March and has given Democrats hope that they could win a statewide race in Texas for the first time since 1994.
You know, I traveled down to South Texas. I came here to San Antonio, showed up in Latino neighborhoods in Houston and in Dallas, and I listened. I heard about how this cost of living crisis is crushing Hispanic families all over the state.
Could you buy Mr. Tallarico a tie? Maybe a bolo tie. I saw some great bolo ties when I was in the Navajo Nation the other day over at Antelope Canyon. Nah, probably not.
Is keenly aware of how he says Democrats have failed Latinos.
They took Latino voters for granted in this state. I think about South Texas, the Rio Grande Valley. The Democratic Party nationally just assumed that those voters were always going to vote for Democrats. And there's nothing worse in a democracy than taking a voter for granted or taking a community for granted.
The huge prize at stake is a Latino vote that's splintered but not shifted. And that makes it one of the most powerful and unpredictable.
Irrelevant.
The smell of a Memorial Day barbecue is always a hit. But for many, the cost this year is not.
Explain to me how $300 worth of groceries gets you basically nothing now.
A new report.
Well, I don't think that's true. That seems like a slight overstatement, but, you know, it's okay. I also engage in hyperbole from time to time.
Analyzing the prices of some popular food brands found the total for a classic barbecue has increased by nearly 10%, almost triple last year's jump. Beef hot dogs are
10% up in 1 year. That's actually really fucking bad. Jesus Christ.
Up more than 18%. Fresh ground beef has spiked nearly 15%. And barbecue sauce will cost you almost 12% more. All that has helped send consumer sentiment to a new record low in May.
The consumer is very nervous and really watching every penny, and the worst is yet to come.
Phil Lempert of supermarketguru.com says the main reason?
Yeah, remember, the lower consumer sentiment is, the less people are willing to spend, and the less people are willing to spend, the worse the problem gets.
Is the war in Iran.
Number one is the price of diesel, because all of our food, whether it's imported or whether it's domestic, travels by truck to our supermarket. Then we've got the fertilizer problem. Those prices are up. So if you're going to have that barbecue and you want corn on the cob, you're going to pay twice as much for it.
For shoppers needing to stretch each dollar, Lempert suggests swapping name brands for store brands, buying frozen instead of fresh, and always have a game plan.
Have that shopping list when you go into the store. Make sure that you're really thinking about what you're going to be serving at that barbecue and portion it out.
Hi? Hello? Yep.
While overall retail retail spending
she's like, oh, fuck.
Remains healthy.
The camera guy was doing this for like 10 seconds. She was distracted by the gas prices she saw behind the cameraman, I assume.
That's really driven by higher gas prices. And as for what you can expect to pay for your groceries this summer, unfortunately, as long as the Strait of Hormuz is shut, those prices are expected to continue to go up. Tony.
All right, Joe Ling, thank you very much. It's a Barbie camper of sorts designed by the guy driving it there, 30-year-old Molly Hightower, a handyman not far from Atlanta. He says he started with a go-kart base and the engine from an old power washer, and what he got is maybe the ultimate answer to higher gas prices.
Oh, man, it's bad. Holy shit. Can you imagine this running? Can you imagine if a segment like this ran in, like, I don't know, China or something, how much American chauvinists would be gloating over it? We have the answer to our ailing economy. Beep, beep, baby cars.
Gas is getting too high, so I gotta do what I can. I can't do the my regular cars. I gotta do my little mini cars. So if I can get $1 on pump 6.
Yes, $1. That little mini car, as he calls it, cost all of $3 to fill up entirely, compared to about $60 for his real car, a minivan. And while he can't pick up the kids in the mini car, he did install a rack for groceries. And as long as he stays off the highway, he says the local cops have been understanding.
Okay.
Oh, and yes, he says this is for real.
Gas has always been an issue. Is go up, it goes down, things like that. But this time is when I'm actually starting to feel it.
And there it is. Maybe not the Barbie Dreammobile, but at $3 a tank, pretty close to a dream.
Filling up in Colleen,
like this
Texas,
cut together.
on average, gas is $1.28 a gallon more than it was a year ago. For Charles Rice, that's about $90 extra a month to fill up his truck.
$3.96 instead of $4.12 or $4.20, so that's what brought me in here today.
Here is Casey's General Stores. It's the nation's third largest convenience store with nearly 3,000 locations across 19 states, making Memorial Day weekend almost like it's Christmas. Store visits are expected to jump 20%. CEO Darren Rebellas.
Well, it's the kickoff of our 100 days of summer.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. 2/3 of Casey's locations are in towns of 20,000 people or less.
Are you seeing impacts from the higher prices of fuel?
The consumer's been hanging in there, and we tend to price our fuel at the lower end.
Y'all have a good one. You too. Thank you.
And consumers are making some trade-offs. Casey's self-branded snacks sell for about $1 less than national brands, and sales are up.
People normally want things that are going to be a little bit more affordable, especially when you have kids that want to pick up different snacks.
Have you started to see any change in consumer behavior? Because Domino's, Chipotle, Applebee's all said they saw softening, which they're attributing to higher gas prices.
Is this a paid advertisement? Often it is, yeah. And I think it's funny that in spite of how bad things are right now, they still won't even blame Trump. They refer, obliquely to the war in Iran, a thing that was entirely his own decision, whereas they were all too willing to blame Biden for the inflation crisis back in 2022, when that was objectively not Biden's fault. It happened all across the world. In fact, we recovered from it relatively quickly, thanks to our government's policies at the time. But, 100% corporate PR firms help coordinate these segments. Oh, yeah, for sure. It's all paid advertisements, yeah.
When we get into times like this where, budgets are stretched a little bit, we're viewed as a better value option. A lot of folks will come to us because we're a more affordable option.
Yeah, paid segments.
To the extent that pizza is reflective of the U.S. economy, Casey's is the fifth largest
Misspoke. Time for another circumcision.
pizza seller in the U.S., priced a few dollars below their competition. So when they talk about value, it's people coming here to save money instead of eating out elsewhere, Tony.
All right, Chris, enjoy that pizza. Thank you very much.
And with gas prices up, more people are relying on mass transit. CBS's Tim McNicholas is in New York City and following that part of the story tonight. Tim.
Good evening, Derica. The Long Island Railroad may be idled by a strike, but passenger trains and bus lines across the country say ridership is up. And they say higher prices at the pump is one big reason why. Transportation hubs like Union Station in Washington, D.C.
Thank you.
Families are flooding back to food pantries across the country. In Baldwin Park, California, dozens of cars lined up Wednesday for a food drive co-hosted by the LA Regional Food Bank.
Do you go to Costco for gas? Oh, speaking of, for one, no. For two, the reason Costco rarely gets mentioned in these broader segments on affordability is because Costco is not paying for them. Also, there's not a general corporate interest in directing consumers towards Costco because Costco's business model requires a cap on margin profits for the businesses that supply them. In other words, the deep state doesn't want you shopping at Costco.
In Pittsburgh, a pantry A.J. Owen started out of his front yard last fall has expanded into a program that will stay open through the summer.
We're going to do this until we can feed all the kids this summer. Nobody's going hungry this summer in Pittsburgh.
Americans in neighborhoods large and small are pitching in. Prices are rising faster than paychecks now for the first time in 3 years. Wissam Youssef, a father of 5, first turned to a food pantry in Carrollton, Texas when his wife was out of work a year ago.
I always pick up the healthy food. Like example for this, the lentil here.
But he's had to keep coming.
So to feed your family,
yes.
Are you relying on a place like this now?
I could say 65%, yes.
65%. Okay. Yeah, I want to read this article. Hold on.